Welcome back to the show, everybody. Check out these headlines. We've got James Wallis from the Digital Pound Foundation, ladies and gentlemen. Let me tell you something else we got, too. We got artificial intelligence, ChatGPT. That's right. It's passed the medical exam. It passed the bar exam. And you know what? It also told us how XRP can be a stable coin. Somebody roll that beautiful intro.
Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. You can follow us on TikTok, YouTube, and Twitter for exclusive content. Right now, $1.08 trillion market cap for crypto. We're up 2.4%. Good afternoon, everybody. Bitcoin just over $23,000 at 11% up on the 7-day, 1.8 on the 24-hour. Ethereum almost $1,600, $1,594 and change. It's up 3% on the 24-hour, 5.1 the 7-day. Now we see $67.2 billion market cap for Tether, and we see here 41 cents for XRP, up 0.8% on the 24-hour and 8% on the 7-day. Let's look at this. It's Uphold, baby. Home of the altcoins. Well, I got a surprise coming for you in the very near term about Uphold, and you're going to like it. It's going to be very good. But until then, click the link underneath the video. It's home of the altcoins. You can do staking, and HBAR is a part of the list of 30 that you can stake with. But you got to click that link underneath. You want to get the best deal. And you could use anything to anything with your Uphold wallet, as well as cash. If you're just accredited, you can buy these amazing products. And I'm going to tell you something. When I first pulled this up this morning, I took a gasp. I was like, because I looked over here and I was like, oh, okay, they got a new product. But that's where usually I see Ripple sitting. And Samba Nova's been added, which is fantastic. Artificial intelligence, ladies and gentlemen. And we're going to look at some artificial intelligence today. ChatGPT getting ready to explain to you exactly how XRP can be a stable coin and give you more than one option on how to do it. And then James Wallis is going to tell us about how you can actually use the XRP-Ledger in the CBDC system. You getting ready to hear some stuff today. But luckily, Ripple is still on the board. And I tell you, don't mess around. One of these days, I'm going to gasp because it isn't there. Link underneath the video. Right here, Reggie Middleton, shout out to Reggie, awarded another patent out of Japan now. We're going to keep an eye on this. All of this based around covering DeFi, NFTs, cold storage, stable coins, and CBDCs. It's getting very interesting with these patents that Reggie has that really kind of bottleneck what happens in the industry altogether. How will it go down? How will this continue to unfold? Really enjoy speaking to Reggie. I think we're going to get him back on very soon. Right here from Digital Asset Investor says, hey, Brian Armstrong from Coinbase, when do we get our flare? In a world where you're about to have to compete with Wall Street, you better get better at responding to your customers or you won't have them as more options come available. Well said. Where in the world is our flare, Brian Armstrong? Then this right here is Danelle Dixon from Stellar Foundation and XLM. And I tell you what, there's great things going on there too. Let's listen to this very quickly from the World from sitting down with CoinDesk here. But take a listen to this.
We are the technology provider for this, so the back end of it. And really it's leveraging the blockchain and what the blockchain is really good at, which is payments and then asset issuance, particularly the Stellar blockchain. So on the Stellar blockchain, we have the USDC token, which is a fiat-backed dollar, one-to-one backed token that can be leveraged very, very well in payments. And so we created a disbursement platform, which is, you can have, I call it a bulk uploading tool, that you can upload thousands of transactions at once to be able to make payments to individuals or companies, frankly, anywhere. And we worked with the UNHCR. The UNHCR distributes aid. Obviously, I'll let Carmen speak to that piece of it. But we work with the UNHCR so they could distribute aid, leveraging the Stellar, the bulk uploading tool, the Stellar network, the Vibrant wallet, and also USDC. But the important piece of it is the off-ramp, which is MoneyGram. So we have this pipe that is lots of partners participate in it. But what we're trying to do is to be able to allow the end user to receive their aid quickly In this case, it's they can have their aid within 2.5 minutes of receiving the first text that they get that tells them to download the Vibrant app. So then they receive the aid in the app, and then they can walk into MoneyGram and they can choose to take out all of the aid at that point in their local currency, or they can choose to put it in their bank account, or they can choose to hold it. So it's a pretty remarkable, from the standpoint of transparency, from instantaneous distribution, from the notion of making sure that there is security in the process, and traceability, so you can see exactly where the aid flew. So that's what we did, and we worked with the UNHCR to make that happen.
And there you have that. Things are moving quicker than people want to really acknowledge. Jeremy Hogan, shout out to you, my friend. The XRP Ledger could interact with CBDCs in a few different ways. Oh, yeah. He got busy talking with the API, or the artificial intelligence, and I got busy because it inspired me to do so. One possibility is that a central bank digital currency could be issued on top of the XRP Ledger as an IOU, represented by a specific token. This would allow for the CBDC to take advantage of the XRP Ledger's fast, efficient settlement times. Also, another possibility is that the central bank digital currency central bank could open a gateway on the XRP Ledger that allows users to deposit and withdraw the CBDC. This would allow for the CBDC to be used in conjunction with XRP and other digital assets on the XRP Ledger. Then, right here, it's also possible that the central bank digital currencies will be pegged to XRP and interact with the XRP Ledger as a stable coin, which would allow for fast, cheap, and efficient cross-border transactions. Of course, he says, I personally have no clue. I'm a stupid lawyer, but that is what Chat AI said. Well, that inspired me to go one step further. You know, we've had tons of conversations around these parts about XRP being a stable coin because the Bank of China's talked about it. The former governor of the Bank of England, Mark Carney's talked about it. A group of 30 talked about it. And we know the World Bank has talked about it. Now, I asked here, ChatGPT, how XRP could be used as a stablecoin. And well, look at its answer. And take a look right here. XRP, the digital asset associated with the Ripple network, has been proposed as a potential stablecoin due to its potential to facilitate fast and inexpensive cross-border transactions. A stablecoin is a type of cryptocurrency that is pegged to the value of a fiat currency or other assets such as gold to reduce price volatility. One way that XRP could be used as a stablecoin is by pegging its value to a fiat currency such as the US dollar. This could be done by creating a system where XRP is exchanged for the fiat currency at a 1-to-1 ratio and then used as a digital representation of that currency for the cross-border transactions. I remind you before I read further, remember when we covered R3 Fed coin? And when we covered that, matter of fact, let me just highlight this very quickly. It'll take 2 seconds. Remember this right here? R3 reports, Fed coin, a central bank issued digital currency. And remember this part where they went over the idea of the pre-allocated Ripple that was pre-allocated 100%, and then talked about Fed coin would be pre-allocated as well. And then it went into breaking down the idea and understanding that Fed coin 2.0 could be issued, and you could do a 1-to-1 peg to $1. You could do 2-to-1 peg, a $200 bill between the $100 bill. You could peg it to a $50 bill. You could peg it to the $1 bill, a $100 bill, a $500 bill. Yeah, remember that? I remember that. I remember all that. Now, what I find interesting is about all of this and then looking through is let's go through the second situation here on what the suggestion from ChatGPT is on this from the artificial intelligence. Another way is by using XRP as collateral to back a synthetic stablecoin, which is pegged to the value of a fiat currency. Oh, this could be done by issuing a synthetic stablecoin that is backed by a certain amount of XRP, which would be held in escrow. The synthetic stablecoin would be designed to maintain a stable value relative to the fiat currency, while the value of the underlying XRP would fluctuate. How many times have I gone on about this? How many times, these are just proposals, not an official use case, but how many times have I talked about that a stable coin be issued with a price set and allow XRP to continue to fluctuate with the liquidity there? And they could price set it. Let's say if the collateral is $1 million worth of collateral floating on the XRP ledger is just an example. You could peg the stable coin at a $500,000 or $250,000, and you wouldn't peg just one price at this, where it would never exceed the liquidity of a quarter of the total volume or half of the total volume or some percentage thereof. So there's never going to be a dry pocket tapped into in the liquidity itself. Again, these are not official use cases, but understanding that the world is moving towards central bank digital currencies, understanding that stablecoin CBD legislation is really coming before anything to do with crypto's coming. To me, what I see here is exactly the precipice of where we stand today. We are on the edge of watching, I believe, government or governments do exactly this. Remember the idea and understanding, rather, which is the XRP ledger is where the value is. The XRP token is merely a mechanism used to bridge a settlement transaction where applicable, where needed. What's really needed is a decentralized exchange, the XRP ledger, which works as a stock market, as a New York Stock Exchange, but for everything. FX market, stocks, derivatives, right? Bonds, we know the whole drill. Commodities. One giant decentralized exchange, one giant Hong Kong, New York Stock Exchange for every single thing. And the token that resides on that platform to bridge it all where applicable is XRP, or a stable coin backed and built off of XRP. Because if you have an agreement to plug all the liquidity in the world from all the different stock exchanges and FX markets and commodities markets into one giant exchange for the best automated market maker pricing and settlement, well, what would you have then? And what would you have if you take the first example and go one-to-one once that giant exchange has been tapped into, and then peg a certain denomination of the US dollar to the XRP token, and that's the wholesale back-end CBDC for the United States. I'm guessing. I'm speculating in these hills. But it's looking pretty strong, like that's a direction we could be going. Now, this is James Wallis sitting down at the Digital Pound Foundation. Shout out to him and Ripple and everybody there on the team at Digital Pound Foundation. I'm going to take you into some clips right here. Some you're going to like and some you won't. The first clip right around here is around 7 minutes. I'm going to bring you in. And again, you're not going to dig it. They're going to talk about different things that you could be doing. Condition-based payments. You can set up, it's almost like describing smart contract. If this happens and that happens, then the money can be released, right? That kind of style thing. And then from there, he's going to go into a conversation where they talk about controlling your funds with CBDCs. Take a listen. He's not fond of it either, by the way.
Not in this other situation. And again, I'll come on to an example of that. So I think this is a fundamental sort of foundational layer that a lot of the different countries are looking at. A couple of examples, and I have to say the not everyone likes every example. This one would be an example of where government issues sort of relief funding. Could be COVID, could have been, the next time there's a pandemic or whatever. So that would be step one. But in this example, what we're saying is you can actually control what that could be paid for. So, as an individual, you receive relief funding. You go and, go to the supermarket and you want to buy some food. That's okay. That's an approved use of the funding. But you go to the gambling, the bookies, and you want to make a bet, that is not allowed, right? So you can determine what the money can be and cannot be used for. This is very, very difficult to do with, today's payment systems.
And there you have it. And that really is the dark side of CBDCs right there. And you can tell he's not quite a fan of it either. But nevertheless, you got to talk about the conversation. The conversation is what it is. Then there's this conversation. Retail payments with point-of-sale tax collection. Imagine that. Tax collected right then and there when you do something. And no more filing taxes. Money's digital. You make the transaction, you do to this, to that. It keeps track of it every time you do it, and that's it. Government gets the money right away. Same time you make the transaction. Take a quick listen.
But it's just showing the potential capability. I know the HMRC like this idea, which is basically it's essentially a split payment. So you go, today when you go into a store and you buy something, the store, the merchant collects the sales tax, the VAT, and then eventually, I think once a quarter, typically, they forward that on to the tax authorities. With a programmable CBDC, you could make that split at the point of sale, right? So the tax is collected and sent off immediately to the government, and the merchant gets the base price of the product. So split payments is really the capability, and that's something which you just can't do with today's system.
Now comes streaming low-value micropayments.
Another one is low-value micropayments or streaming. So maybe catching a toll as you drive into a traffic zone, or if you're clicking on a newspaper article, anything like that, where there's a very low or potentially very low value payment, can be triggered and collected, in an automated fashion, which is again something which is not really very cost effective in today's world. Last one I'm going to talk about, because I want to.
And here we go. Cross-border payments via intermediary or a DEX. And this is what I've been talking about. How many times do I try to remind everybody it's the values in the protocol, like Glenn Hutchins says. Why is the value in the protocol, Brad? Well, the value's in the protocol because that protocol, the XRP Ledger, is a decentralized exchange. Think of the world exchange in the manner of all of the stock exchanges, all the commodity markets, every market that exists, plugged into one global exchange that's decentralized. That's what the XRP Ledger is. And he's about to explain that to you right now.
Hear what the panel have to say is cross-border payments. This has obviously been around for years. Maybe it's a little bit more of an interesting topic now with Brexit and trade, new trade partners developing around the world. But this, it's still a very inefficient approach. Now, obviously, we believe from the Ripple's perspective, with our RippleNet, we've solved that in certain markets. But with digital currency, I think you can go one step further. You can do these payments in a few different flavors. One is through an intermediary, which is really a bit more like the existing sort of correspondent model. But also, you could go through a digital exchange, which would, automate the FX, in a very cost-effective way.
He just explained and described the XRP Ledger. That's what it does.
So those are just some examples out of as I showed you, the long list before.
Yeah, it's all good, James. We get it. He's proposing right there that one of the better ways to do it is to go through a digital exchange. a digital decentralized exchange, a DEX. That's what the XRP Ledger is. That's where the real value is. Someday, I hope it shows up in the token, but we don't know until we get the clarity to go there. The world, I believe, doesn't just want to use it. They need it. But there has to be a very, very clear legal understanding about where we're going here. Because as Linda P. Jones has said, and I have attached to it ever since I heard her say it this way, when it comes to money, nothing is left to chance. That's going to do it for me. Hit the like and subscribe, leave a comment below. I'll catch all of you on the next one.